Hello, welcome to day 17 of our Summer Connection Challenge. Today, we're talking about something that might not sound interesting to your teenager, but it's a powerful thing in shaping their future. We're talking about doing chores together. Yes, it's teamwork, right? Let me tell you something. Chores might be what our teenagers want to escape during the summertime. They might be saying, why do we have to do this? We're on vacation. But what if I told you chores is a powerful way of bringing your family closer together? Let me take you to how my parents did it and the life lessons I learned from it. We're back in my book, Practically Connected Parenting, 21 Ways to Create Timeless Memories in the Teenage Years. Yes, timeless memories of doing chores together. Page 130. Growing up, Saturdays in my household weren't just about rest. They were about cleaning, working together, and creating cherished memories. Each morning, the enticing melody of my dad's old vinyl records would waft through the upstairs window, setting the rhythm for the day's task. Every Saturday, we were assigned specific tasks, and there were plenty of them. One person would clean the car inside and out. Another would rake the yard. Someone would handle the kitchen, and another would take care of the bathrooms. The living rooms get to be dusted as well, you know, right? The sheer number of responsibilities could have been overwhelming, but we had a crucial advantage. We were all doing it together. What would have been a tedious routine transformed into an opportunity for learning and connection. My dad didn't just supervise, he imparted practical skills. How to change a tire, check engine oil, and add water to the radiator. These lessons, disguised as chores, became invaluable life skills that we carried us long after we finished our Saturday chores. Yes, I know in today's world, many cars don't do that anymore. But for my generation, that was an invaluable skill when I first started driving. Meanwhile, my mom tidied up the kitchen and pantry and kept fueling us with a hearty breakfast while lunch simmered on the stove by midday. This chores is what has helped me to keep my own house. So let me let you know, what does it look like in my own house? During the week, my kids do their basic work. Clean the counter, put away the dishes, clean the table, take out the garbage. The basic stuff happens during the week. But you know, if we only do basic, the whole house will soon get into a disarray. Like I told my children, we have actually 2 days of cleaning because we've been so busy. So, you can tell I like red, right? I also like red. So here, my daughter, one of my daughters, she doesn't like to get her hands dirty. So she likes wearing gloves. So she wears gloves. I'm helping her put it on today. I just walk with my hands. I'm used to it. So she will put on gloves whenever she's assigned a deep task to do. So there you go. 2 gloves ready to go and work. Of course, bucket and a scrubbing brush. So I know, I think it's too practical for you to see, right? But my point is this: we have to teach our children the value of work. So between cleaning the bathrooms, mopping the floor, vacuuming the carpets, dusting, the kitchen gets deep cleaning because that's where we spend the most of our days. Every day we're in the kitchen. So when we get to these different zones, the beauty of it is that they know we are all doing it together. Because somebody is upstairs doing something, somebody's in the kitchen, somebody is in the bathroom downstairs, somebody is vacuuming. So it's like a shared effort. It's a collaboration. It's teamwork in action towards a common goal of a clean house. But what is the first lesson it's teaching our children? that this house belongs to all of us, and we get to take a part in taking care of it. Before guests comes too, if it's not our Saturday cleaning, I usually rally everyone to come and clean. I know one of my children said, Mom, why are we cleaning before guests come? I'm like, because we don't want to share our dirt with them. We want them to come into a clean environment, so we need to freshen the place up. So, but here is what blows me away. In writing this chapter, I came upon a Harvard study, and this is what it says. They followed specific kids from childhood to adulthood and later in life. They found something really amazing. The number one predictor of success was not high test scores, SAT, ACT, JAM, WAEG, whatever it is your country has. That wasn't the predictor. It wasn't the high test scores, AP, high GPA. It was whether or not the child did chores growing up. That's a fascinating study, and I talk more about it in my book. So if you haven't gotten your copy yet, go ahead and get your copy. You'll find it there in chapter 17. So what are the lessons that chores teach our children? Number one, responsibility. When children are assigned regular tasks, they learn that others are counting on them. Whether it's taking out trash, washing dishes, feeding the pet, the task becomes their job. So we are training them to be responsible on their job. This builds a sense of ownership, a powerful skill that transfers into school, into relationships, into careers. They soon will realize what I do matters, and my efforts make a difference. I mean, you can't send somebody to the school of responsibility. We can do it in our own home by engaging them in chores and doing it alongside them. I mean, my dad would be playing music, so you know that music. So for me too, I tell Alexa, play. I tell what artist I want them to play. And so we're working, we're listening to music, and the work is getting done. Number two, lesson, doing chores together teaches our children work ethic. Chores introduce the concept of effort equals results. Vacuuming a carpet, scrubbing the sink, organizing a cluttered drawer shows that hard work has visible and satisfying outcomes. Talking about organizing a cluttered drawer. So in my house, we have this shelving, plastic drawer shelving. I think there are 7 bins in them. The first 4 are very slim. The other ones are like bigger. So we have like pencils, erasers, cleaners, glue, pens, tape, everything, just stationery station, pretty much. But it has become cluttered over the years. So one of the assignments this summer I gave my son is to organize the drawers. So the day I told him to do it, he brought out the first one. And I went and came and said, you're only doing one? You need to bring at least the first 4 out. So you can now sort it first and classify them. See what I'm talking about now? Sorting, classifying, categorizing. So you know what things go in which bin. I was like, Mom, that would take too long. I said, well, but it will make your job easier. So I helped him bring it out, line all 4 up. I said, well, so create a pile. Trash pile, keep pile, and donate pile. So that as you're doing it, you get it done all at the same time. And he was busy complaining, Mom, but my sister, so he names the sister that likes organizing. I said, yes, she likes organizing, but I'm giving you an opportunity to develop organizational skills. So he wasn't too happy initially, but he got it done eventually. So now from that day, you open a drawer, you can see exactly what is inside. Actually, this morning I needed a ruler to measure. I was designing a bookmark and I wanted to measure the dimensions. And so I was like, where's the ruler? He said, oh, he knows exactly which drawer it was. And I opened it and there was the ruler. That is organization. It saved me time in digging through a cluttered drawer, and it gives him a sense of accomplishment because now he remembers exactly what drawer he organized it into. So where can our children learn that kind of skill? That's a work ethic right there. So, number 3 is perseverance. Not all chores come quick and easy. Some take time, energy, and repeated effort. Whether it's sorting laundry, raking leaves, deep cleaning a shared space, kids often have to push past the boredom or the frustration. So going back to my son organizing the drawer, he was frustrated that I want him to do 4 drawers at a time. But persevering through helped him to do an excellent job. Because the thing is, there were pencils in every drawer. There were like glue stick. There was tape and things you use in hanging, like Velcro. Every drawer seems to have just a jumble of stuff. But now that he has organized this, we can open a drawer and we can just see the tape, the glue stick all in one spot. When we open another drawer, we can see the markers, the pens, the pencils in one spot. So it makes life easy for every one of us. So he had to push through that frustration and like, this is not a job I'm excited about. This is boring job. So he had to push past that. So this is teaching our children that when you grow up, it's not every job you will enjoy in your office, but you got to do it because you're expected to do it. And that's part of adding value to your organization. So that is persevering through until you see the work done. Number 4 lesson that doing chores together with our teenagers teach is self-confidence. There's something empowering about standing back and seeing what you've done, the accomplishment. When a child sees a clean room that they have organized, a shiny bathroom they have scrubbed, it sends a message. It tells them, wow, I am capable. I can contribute and I can finish what I start. Where else are we going to build our children's confidence in a sense of accomplishment? These small wins build competence that later translates to confidence. Do you see how I say, how can you raise a confident child? Do chores. That's an easy one. Do chores together. Confidence in one area spills into every other area, like school, like life, like relationships, like leadership roles. You begin to take ownership. And talking about the leadership role, that's why I'm saying parents should do chores with their children, because a leader leads the way. It's a manager that is designating you do this, you do that, and all that. A leader is part of the activity. So if we want to pass on leadership, self-leadership skills to our children, we are part of the activity. We're telling them, as a leader in this home, I have influence, not because I tell you what to do, I do it with you, so that we can see that the leader is going the way and showing the way. Well, that's one thing that Dr. John Maxwell always says, a leader goes the way and shows the way. So as parents, taking the lead in being part of the activity. When we're doing all this in the house, my husband, sometimes he's the one cutting the grass and raking and cleaning the backyard, using this vacuuming thing to spray, to blow off leaves and stuff. So being part of it together, when we now come together to eat in the late mornings, afternoon, is a sense of accomplishment. The house smells clean. Everywhere looks organized and tidy. Even me, the other day, I was organizing my bathroom closet, and I categorized all the towels in one spot, and the tablecloths, I put them in a different closet. So when I open that closet, I always smile because now I can see exactly what I'm looking for in there. So it's not only our children, it gives us a sense of accomplishment and a sense of peace. So this is what that study from Harvard also said. They found that those kids that did chores in adult life, they have greater happiness in their life. Wow. So now on top of the confidence, the competence, the work ethic, it also gives them happiness. And you know, I watched a movie called In Pursuit of Happiness, and you know, in United States, it's like there's a pursuit of happiness. Why people immigrate here, or even if you immigrate out of your country for whatever reason, it's usually for better opportunities. So they're saying that teaching our children how to do chores and doing it with them helps them to even live a happy life. And a happy life leads to a healthy life. So there is a lot we give our children when we assign chores for them and for us. And we set out a time where we're all doing it together. So today's challenge is not about just having a clean house or a clean environment. It's about preparing your teenager for a real world with strong foundation. So, you know, that takes me to, there's a story I read. This young boy, he's now like a young adult. He's finished his school and he was looking for a job. Every time at home, his dad would tell him, turn off the tap. You're brushing your teeth and the water is running. Turn it off while you're brushing and you can turn it back on to me. So turn off the tap, turn off the light, you know, when you're not using it. And this boy was always like frustrated at his dad telling him to do all these things. Turn off the tap, turn off the light, all these things. Goodness, golly. So this job application, the owners of the job, they are the old school type, and they wanted to employ this next generation, you know. I don't know if it's Gen Z now they were employing, but anyway, the story goes that with every candidate, they set an appointment. They have a gate that leads into the building. They leave the gate wide open. They have a lawn area. They leave the hose running and overflowing into the pathway. They leave the door partly open. And they also, once you enter into the hallway for the interview, they left all the lights on and all the fan on, running at full speed. And then you get to go upstairs to a lobby where you'll actually be called in for the interview. So as this boy entered the gate, he said, why is the gate open? So behind him, he latched the gate. He saw the water was overflowing in the lawn. He went and found where the tap was and turned it off and moved the hose away. When he got to the door, he kind of picked, oh, why is the door open? He closes it behind him. He saw that there were people waiting in the lobby, but the lobby was so large that there were lights that were not being used and fans that were in a section where nobody was sitting. And he went over and turned off some lights and switched off some fans and only left the section where he saw people sitting. So when it was his turn to go upstairs and then wait to be called in, he got upstairs and sat down. Soon they called him in for the interview, and they just welcomed him and introduced themselves. And within the first 5 minutes, they said, congratulations, you got the job. He like, what? How did I get the job? You haven't asked me any question. He was like, is this a trick question? Is it a trick for, are they trying to trick me with this interview? They said, no, you got the job. Yes, you got the job. Congratulations. So he like, I'm confused. I'm puzzled. I don't understand. Why am I getting the job when I haven't been interviewed? They said, well, what you don't know is that we set a video surveillance to the office. So we watch every candidate that comes in. You are the only one who closed the gate. You are the only one who turned off the water that was overflowing outside. You are the only one who came in and turned off lights and fan where it was not being used. We know if you can manage that, if you are responsible in that little way, we know you will be responsible in our business. And we can count on you not to waste, not to take things for granted, to be accountable, to take the initiative, to take the lead. It was then, so he thanked them for the job offer. And as he went home, he started remembering all his dad's voice telling him to turn off the light, turn off the water. He did not know, indirectly, he was actually listening, even though he was frustrated at his dad, and it had become part of him. And he was doing it, it was like an involuntary action he was doing on that interview day, and not knowing that that was the skill that would get him the job. So I think the story goes on that he thanked his dad and apologized for his complaining and grumbling. So what am I saying? Allowing our children, or assigning regular chores to our children, is giving them life skills that can open doors that qualification or competition cannot deter them from. And that is why I'm advocating us to take advantage of the 7-year window, age 12 to 19, age 12 to 19, that 7-year window, to impart legacy into them. Like that dad, he only could do it when the son was home. So for us too, when they're on vacation, they're home with us, it's time to do chores together. Because once they leave our house, the clock is done ticking. And we cannot rewind it. So that is why I'm sounding this wake-up alarm to every parent of a preteen, teenager, or young adult. You know, we were expecting some guests, and I went grocery shopping, and all of us got in the kitchen. So my son was I showed him how to, and the ratio, the measurement of seasoning, peppers, Italian seasoning, curry, everything I was going to use to marinate the chicken and the beef. I measured it into the blender, added onions and garlic and stuff, and I showed him exactly what I was doing. I said, okay, your job is to do what I'm doing. So we had like batches of this to do to prepare for our guests. And so he will blend and pour into each container. We had sorted the beef, the chicken, and other things. So he would just go blend and pour it into each container. His two sisters had a big bowl. Whatever he has poured, they will now pour it into this big bowl and then stir the seasoning into the meat. And then we had storage bags that will go in the freezer, and then they were in charge of putting those into those bags, removing the air from it, and storing it in the freezer. So it was like an assembly line, pretty much. You do this, you do this, you do this. Well, I was doing the initial cleaning of the meat for us to store. So this is doing it together. And yes, I took pictures, say cheese, like, Mom, how am I going to remember you helped me prepare for this? So we can only do it when they're home. So my challenge for us today, pick a time, assign the tasks that needs to be done, and work together. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. That's why in my book, at the back cover, you would read a caption in orange. It says, "Intentional parenting for the season that shapes the future." Remember to take pictures. Let's teach our teenagers that contribution is not just expected, it is empowering them for their own life. And just maybe, as we're doing this chores together, we are making memories. Like I read to you, the memories that came from my dad and mom doing chores together with us on a Saturday. You know, I shared the other day why I wrote this book. I had finished writing everything I did with my own children. It was then in my spirit, I just like, wow, where did I even get this from? And then I was prompted to write how my parents did exactly all 21 activities. It looked different the way they did it than the way I'm doing it. But that's just it. Life skills and legacy that are impactful, cut across generation. The method of execution would definitely be different in many cases. But the values, the skills, they're essential for life and living. So I'm going to leave you with that today. And thank you so much for joining me. Honestly, day 17. Some of you have been giving me feedback. That is what has been cheering me on to do this. And so we have just a few more days left. So, but let me give you a teaser about tomorrow. Tomorrow we're on day 18, and let me see what's the title of day 18, so you can share your hobbies. So please think of your hobbies and come prepared to share it. So thank you so much for joining me again. This is Remi Ayodele, and I'm cheering you on to do chores together as you get your copy of Practically Connected Parenting, 21 Ways to Create Timeless Memories in the Teenage Years. Visit Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, or Amazon. Whatever country you live in. Thank you for joining me for day 17. I'll see you tomorrow for day 18. Thank you.